Firstly, thank you very much for having me. I'm located in Brisbane in Australia.
Okay, and are you Australian or you are from kind from a different place?
Yeah, you picked up my accent. You're spot on. I'm originally from the UK. I've lived here now for about 15 years. So I've lived here long enough to officially be an Australian, but I was born in the UK.
Okay, that's good. It's much more sunny in Australia. I think maybe you like the weather there.
Usually it is. Right now, unfortunately, looking outside my window, we've got a huge storm going over us right now, so it's actually flooding a little bit around my house. So normally it's sunnier.
Okay, it's temporary. I think the storm will pass. I think normally. So can you tell us a few words about your business? I mean, what you are doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, I'm the founder of Glennon Coaching, and what I do is work with individuals and professionals to really support their development, and that's focusing on a couple of areas. Firstly, leadership, and that's both experienced leaders or people brand new to leadership as well, because as we know, so often people are put into leadership roles and don't necessarily have the foundation skills, whether it's conflict resolution, emotional intelligence, whatever it might be. Also sales as well, so I've got a strong background in sales. And career transition. But through these areas and with these online sessions, what I try and focus on with the individual is building up the foundation of them as a professional, but also as a person, really leaning into enabling them to find their identity, build up their confidence, and it's very much taking them on a journey and leading them to success.
And I mean, you're working mostly online or also...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's all online sessions, which enables me to have, be very flexible with my time, but also their time, but also have clients. I've got someone based in San Francisco, for example. I can talk to someone in the UK, here locally. Australia's a big country, so be able to be spread relatively easily.
And you have mostly, customers from which countries? I mean, mostly Western customer. You have also Asian customer. Okay,
mostly Western. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And when you say leadership roles, you mean like it's mostly about someone to be an SEO of a company, or also lower roles, or
not so much the CEO level, more so the middle and entry level management roles, but across multiple different industries. And I'll give you an example of one which I've got a lot of background in is hospitality. And it's an area that I'm very passionate about, but it doesn't often get the support that it deserves, and also the respect it deserves as well. But how often in an area, an industry like hospitality, do people get put in leadership roles because they're the best at making a cocktail or the best at making coffee? Now, that's not necessarily the wrong way to do it, but they're put in these positions and roles without the foundation skills, without skills or experience or knowledge of, time management, conflict resolution, being able to approach a colleague or someone they're leading with an issue, performance management, upselling, all these different skills, for example, they're not given. It's just they're brilliant at making a margarita.
Okay, so you can, and it's mostly you are teaching them how to do these things by themselves. I mean, how to develop some habits, or so they have a more long-term success, right?
Absolutely. So it's a bit of a combination. So I work with the owner or the operations manager of the business sometimes, and work with their whole team. And the owner, for example, might want a particular skill or message that they want me to work on with their team on an individual basis. But also the individuals are going to want different areas of growth as well. So it's about keeping that message consistent, like I said, taking them on a journey and really making sure that they're getting value out of it, but challenge them at the same time. I often say, and I'm a big believer of this, a coach is there to tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. And what I do is challenge them and say, look, they might say, I've got an employee, I've got a staff member that's really, that drive me up the wall, and I need to approach them, and I'm a bit nervous and not sure how to do it. And I go, okay. And I walk them through the process of, focusing on the behavior or whatever it might be. And I challenge them. I go, okay, tomorrow or this week, I want you to do this. And I want you to go through this process. And sometimes you get a bit of pushback where they go, oh, a bit scared, a bit nervous. How do I do it? And you encourage them, you believe them, you instill that confidence in them to try it and to be willing to fail fast for one, but also to have confidence in the process. And then following up after that, the next session, you go, how did it go? Where did it go well? Where could you improve? And you're very much taking them on that journey.
Okay, and you are rough sometimes with them, so you try to push their limits.
I wouldn't say rough, and it's encouraging and stretching their limits. I'd say probably more than it's often. It's more about testing and learning with them and going, I know you're not comfortable in this area, but it's important you get comfortable not being comfortable, if you know what I mean. I'm sure everyone's heard that term. But giving them the confidence to know that they've got you there in their corner for support afterwards, that they can try all these things and give it a go and come back and go, that felt really good, but I didn't really nail that bit. That's fine. It's okay. Because you tried, you gave it a go, and that's how you build.
And you personalize the plan. It depends on each individual. I mean, someone.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, someone, it can be more. You see them; they have more strength. You can push them a little bit more. Someone is a little bit more weak. You can make it a little bit more.
Absolutely, it's got to be tailored. I know all sessions are always tailored because, like you said, you could be dealing with an individual that is really confident and really strong and, wants to be pushed harder and is open about that, but also could be more experienced and wants to grow in slightly more nuanced ways versus someone who's lacking completely in confidence, feeling very, very lost, not sure what to do. And it's, week one for them. You need to approach them completely different. It's why I'm a big advocate of one-to-one coaching rather than, cool, everyone come on this course and everyone will get the same amount of value out of it, because they won't.
And you have also, like a business owner can hire you to teach them, to coach them, but also to coach their team. So you have like big teams, like sometimes to manage. To coach. Maybe do you ever take big businesses with a lot of staff working? Someone to hire.
Excuse me. I haven't had a massive business with multitudes of people yet. It's something that I'm very open to doing. But again, I'd want to tailor it to the business needs, because it's all good. I guess I'm a big believer on, again, authenticity and integrity. So it's all good for a business to go, we need this to be delivered. It's about understanding the customer's needs, whether that's the business or whether the individual. For me to go, okay, well, I've got this program and that needs to fit business, that's not how it should work. It should be the other way around. So it's more about, if a large organization needs 20 people or 25 of their sales force, for example, trained on a particular style of sales, an upsell or a program, what it might be, I would tailor it to them and that need.
Okay, that's good. And what made you decide to become a coach?
Wonderful. I love this question. I'm a big believer that we are who we are in our core, if you know what I mean, and we've all got drivers, and as Simon Sinek talks about, what's our why, for example. And I've been on a great journey in my life, and it's not been without adversity. I'm grateful for that. That has been able to allow me to step back and redefine my identity along the way, overcome a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges. And in everything, I've been able to step back and really focus on what is my drive and my passion. And that's always been the development of other people, winning vicariously through their growth and their success. That gives me the biggest, biggest kick. You get some people who, people who love sales and get a kick out of getting that sale for that house, for example. I get, such a wonderful feeling when I see others succeed. And, I go back to someone, I mentioned the girl from San Francisco. We started working together because she was a bit lost and she wasn't sure what role to go for. And about a month ago, she got the job that she really wanted. It made my week. It was just sensational. And I've been on a journey myself of, being in the corporate world. I was a scuba diving instructor for a while, so I love teaching people then. Slightly different lifestyle, but it's always been at the heart and the core of who I am.
You are a scuba driver instructor in the UK, or you did this job in Australia when you?
Oh, Australia, UK is too cold.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I'm probably what would be called is a softy of a scuba diving instructor, because I just like warm water.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with it, right? I think most of the people that like warm water. And also, can you tell us a few? How do you promote your business? Can you share some digital marketing strategies you are using?
Absolutely. So the business is still relatively new. It's only a few months old, and really at this stage of any business, it's about trial and error to a certain degree, but being willing to fail and willing to try lots of things. So firstly, I started writing for LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn, so I write at least 2 articles a day now, which is across a myriad of different topics in business and career and business culture as well. And obviously focusing on sales from a background as that. So that was to firstly start promoting me as the founder of the business, but also as an expert with the experience that I've got. Podcast is a brilliant one. Podcasts like this one, with yourself, Andreas, is a wonderful way to, get one's name out there and meet different people. I mean, you and I spoke before we started recording, right? It's a great way to connect and market yourself, but also the business. I write a blog every week, that goes out every Wednesday, and people I connect with and build rapport and relationships with get signed up to that. Again, that's networking. And also using e-marketing as well, using mail mergers out, using contacts I've had targeting specific industries. So whether it be, I'll use the one I mentioned before, the hospitality industry. So sending out, updates of what the business is doing to people I know in that industry, and connecting each other via that forum as well. Social media is another one. It's definitely one I've had to learn. I've never been a social media expert, but using Instagram is definitely something I've learned along the path. Making reels, using podcasts again, cutting them down into shorts. Using AI as well, using AI to build different reels as well, which was very new to me, and I wouldn't say anything close to being an expert at this stage, but that's another platform as well. So I post on there on Instagram every day, and on Wednesdays I do something a little bit different, where I put a call out to anyone that follows to say, ask me a question if you want, and I will write a post on that question. So again, I try and increase that engagement, but try and again help people feel heard. So if there's anyone that's really struggling with something, they can send me a DM on the Instagram page, and I will either, I know the answer and then I'll write a post on it so they get that feedback, or I'll do some research and then write it back as eventually. So again, it increases that engagement piece.
I wanted to ask you also, you say you are using AI. I wanted to ask you your opinion about artificial intelligence. Do you have a positive opinion, or do you want to share some thoughts about that?
I think it's inevitable, for one. It's something that's here. It's here to stay. I think it's like anything. It's how it's used. I think if it's used for the right reasons, it's used with integrity. It's used to support people on their journey and their talent. I think it's a brilliant thing. But I think if it's like anything, I think if it's abused and used to falsify things, if it's used to cheat, if it's used, people much smarter than I am for military reasons or whatever it might be, that's not going to be a positive in the world, right? But I think if it's a tool to help people and support, in ChatGTP is probably the most common one, right? People use that quite often. If someone's really struggling on a foundation of an essay, and they're at school, should they use GTP? No, they shouldn't, because that's cheating. But if they're struggling on a specific sentence and they just can't they can't work it out in their mind, that's a great tool to use to reframe it. It's like Grammarly. Grammarly is effectively a form of AI. That's a helpful tool. So I think it comes down to really how it's used and the intent behind it.
Yeah, I think yeah, it depends on the use of the of each yeah, of each tool, for each AI tool.
Yeah,
Okay, and I understand you become a coach because you want to help people. You like to see people succeeding.
100%.
Um, and do you believe? I mean, what improve your? I mean, your experience on your previous jobs, and maybe that you moved to Australia. These things make you maybe a better coach. Maybe that you try a lot of different things. You go to a lot of different places.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm very open with the mistakes I've made. It's something that I think I'm probably a little bit daft or different when it comes to other people, because I've had a lot of adversity and I've had a lot of challenges, and I've redefined my own identity a few times, and I talk about it quite a lot. But I'm very open about it. And what that enables me to do is spot the mistakes that I've made in other people quite often and help them navigate that journey, not just with sympathy, but with empathy. So using a lot of emotional intelligence, which I think is really important. I've been exposed to business from a very, very young age. I mean, my mum, who I owe a lot to, she started a business when I was only a child. And I remember eating my breakfast, eating cornflakes, and the kitchen table was the boardroom table, effectively. So, I'm thinking about school and going and play footy and maths and whatnot, and I'm hearing all this business talk. So, business has always been in my blood, if you like, and working in the corporate world gave me a completely different lens. And I learned so much from that time, both good and negative, and changing, like you said, different countries, growing up in the UK, moving to Australia, navigating, I've always been a huge one to travel, because I think it's one of the best things you can do to grow as a person, but also to enjoy life, because that's what we should be here to do. And with that, it enables you to pick up great pieces of advice from people smarter than yourself over the time. And with that, you can grow, you can make mistakes, you can learn from them, but also you can take that into everything you do, in this case, coaching.
Yeah, I think maybe also customers. I mean, someone that hire a coach wants someone with a lot of personal experience by themselves on different fields, on different businesses.
Definitely, because if you're a coach that's only, and I don't mean to put down anyone that's in this position, but if you're a coach that's only lived in a small town your whole life, you've never left there, and you're coaching people, you've got a lens like that. If you've traveled the world or traveled lots of places and you've met lots of different people, or you've been exposed to different cultures and different environments, you're more likely to do that. You're going to be more willing and more open to. But also it means that when you meet different people in coaching, you're more familiar with the different nuances of their character, or where their background might be, and probably more open to it as well, because you have to flex as a coach. You can't go, well, it's my way and that's it. You have to be malleable in how different people work.
And also, if you tried a lot of different jobs, I think this is something that will help you, because I mean, each job is different. I mean, this experience, I think, that will help you in your coaching business. I mean, to become a better coach.
100%. Because again, it's, I've had good jobs, I've had not so good jobs, but they've all been great experiences. I mean, I look back, I think I was here my very, very early 20s or late teens, and I look back, and one of my most fondest memories of that time is being a job I did 3 jobs at this one time. I was a delivery driver, a waiter, and a bartender. I was working virtually every day and most nights, and it was hectic, but it was good fun. And, I learned so much at the same time and built some really, really good friends and, wonderful memories. But you learn a lot at the same time about work ethic and time management and balance and enjoying life.
And you are offering also in your coaching business also the career transitioning coaching. That this is something that you can maybe you can do it from your personal experience. I mean, someone when they change a job and they want to adjust to the new job.
Definitely, yeah. And I come from a perspective, again, of experience of that one, of having that journey in my control. So choosing to change not just careers, but industries. I've done that quite a lot. And that's not necessarily the easiest path to do. but also of a tougher journey. You know, I was made redundant or laid off, depending on where you're from in the world of scripting. And that was really tough. There's no getting around that. Being let go from a business is brutal. And you're faced with lots of questions about your own value, your own worth, and questions of why was it me? Was it my fault? And all these sorts of things. And it happens all the time. Redundancies and layoffs and restructures. And there's a process that you need to go through, and a support network in that time, whether it's a professional like myself or if it's friends, family, you know, they're so vital to help navigate that change and help put you back on the right path.
Thank you for coming to my podcast, Jack. This is the end of the podcast. All the best and on your coaching business and your life, and enjoy the rest of your day in Australia.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.